Welcome to Ethiopia Today. We will cover the following topics in our presentation today. The ENDF's tactical halt outside of Tigray is actually highly strategic according to the analyst. The Ethiopian space industry is turning out to be as vibrant as ever with its ambitious space program and grand plans according to the study in the field. The details are as follow. The ENDF's tactical halt outside of Tigray is actually highly strategic according to the analyst. The Ethiopian National Defence Forces' successful completion of its National Unity in Diversity operation has resulted in the armed forces deciding to remain outside of the Tigray region for the time being. Although many observers consider this to have been done for tactical reasons, it's actually highly strategic, says political analyst Andrew Koriko on Burkina Ethiopian News. Government Communications Service Minister Legacy Tulu said that the authorities learned about a false flag genocide plot by the TPLF and its international allies to implicate the ENDF in war crimes. According to the information that was revealed, they've already transported a large number of their terrorists who were killed during the government's liberation counteroffensive in the Afar and Amhara regions to mass graves in their home region. Upon the ENDF's entrance into Tigray, the TPLF plans to accuse it of genocide there and has coordinated this information warfare provocation with foreign media who've already agreed to dutifully play along. By wisely avoiding this trap, the ENDF ensures that it'll fail. There will be no revival of the regularly debunked genocide claims, including through false flag plots. This throws a wrench in the US-led West's to artificially manufacture another pretext for justifying the next phase of their pre-planned pressure campaign against Ethiopia. By denying them this, any forthcoming moves in that direction will be even less credible than all their prior ones, which further erodes the US-led West's reputation. The ENDF won't just be sitting around, however, since they're hard at work helping the liberated regions recover from the TPLF's occupation. All sorts of war crimes were committed during this time, and entire communities were devastated by these atrocities. The authorities will help the victims while also exposing the extent of the TPLF's terrorism there. Coupled with their foiling of the US-led West's information warfare provocation, this will serve to decisively reshape global perceptions of the conflict. There's another strategic element to the ENDF's tactical halt outside of Tigray, and that's the government's planned national dialogue with all peaceful forces in the country. To be clear, this doesn't concern terrorist groups like the TPLF and its allies who are unable to participate in this process. They've proven that their threats to peace have committed war crimes and thus aren't legitimate stakeholders in the country's future. These strategic dynamics are putting immense pressure on the TPLF. They're contained to Tigray, whose residents will now have to hold them accountable for the disastrous war that was waged in their name. The terrorist group has eschewed responsibility for the conflict and all of its consequences, but their crushing defeat on the battlefield and the ENDF's tactical halt outside of their home region means that the TPLF has to answer to the locals and finally provide for their most basic humanitarian needs. Up until this point, the group has weaponized international aid shipments and even stolen many of the UN trucks that were used to deliver supplies. This was done to manipulate the international media into claiming that the ENDF was deliberately starving the residents of that region. That false information warfare narrative now has no basis whatsoever upon which to be advanced. In fact, it's becoming abundantly clear that the aforementioned activities are yet another of the TPLF's many war crimes. The best-case scenario would be for the TPLF to disarm, demobilize, hand over those of its members who committed war crimes so that they can face the justice that they deserve and seek to reintegrate the rest of their members into their local society with time. That, however, is unlikely to happen since the TPLF's agenda is to destroy Ethiopia with the full support of their international patrons if they can't return to power. Nevertheless, a window of opportunity is opening, however narrow it might be, for Tigray people to peacefully resist the terrorist group that committed all sorts of atrocities in their name. It's predicted that the region's humanitarian pressures might further intensify since the TPLF is incapable of effective governance and has a track record of weaponizing aid shipments. This might seek to motivate responsible residents to demand accountability and even possibly push back against the group. As was earlier mentioned, Ethiopia's planned national dialogue is open to all peaceful members of society, especially those Tigray people that never joined the TPLF nor supported its terrorist war against their diverse compatriots in the neighboring Afar and Amhara regions. The Tigray people are also victims of the TPLF, including due to the group's brainwashing that misled some of them, which observers should always keep in mind. The participation of peaceful people of Tigray in the planned national dialogue won't just be token like the TPLF's foreign media allies will predictably claim, but substantive for the exact same reason that was mentioned above. This will also show how sincere the authorities are about the process's inclusivity, which in turn is yet another nail in the coffin of the US-led West's information warfare against them. More and more, Ethiopia is exposing the US-led West's many falsehoods. To recap, the ENDF's tactical halt serves the strategic goals of evading the TPLF's false flag genocide trap in Tigray, prompting that region's residents to hold the terrorist group accountable, enabling the authorities to focus on helping the liberated regions recover from the terrorists' occupation and facilitating the planned national dialogue that will also include peaceful Tigray people. All of this further discredits the TPLF and their allies, which in turn enhances Ethiopia's international credibility. The source is Burkina Ethiopian News. The Ethiopian space industry is turning out to be as vibrant as ever with its ambitious space program and grand plans, according to the study conducted in the field. The Ethiopian Space Ambition, a country-level analysis. As satellites get smaller and cheaper, the space industry expands to make space for new and more players, and Ethiopia won't be left behind. The Ethiopian space industry is turning out to be as vibrant as ever with its ambitious space program and grand plans, according to the article on space in Africa. With the growth of the African space ecosystem in recent times, Ethiopia's space program has also been one of the most active, having launched 2 satellites in the last 3 years, one of the most by any country in this period. Ethiopia was also the only African country to launch a satellite in 2020. The nation also recently launched a new multi-satellite ground station, a 7.3 meters multi-satellite tracking and data receiving ground station that will receive data from 5 different Earth observation EO satellites useful for various thematic applications, the article added. Furthermore, Ethiopia is one of the few African countries to own and operate an observatory. The Ethiopian Space Science and Technology Institute (ESSDI) manages the Ethiopian space program. Recently, ESSDI signed an MOU with France's space agency, Centre National d'études spatiales CNES, for the following primary purposes: to collaborate on space climate matters and high-resolution data exchange. Secondly, additional capacity building for Ethiopian professionals, and thirdly, to work together in different space programs. The nation is a party only to the Outer Space Treaty amongst the 5 space treaties. The country has no space legislation, but it has a space policy which it enacted in December 2018. The Ethiopian space policy aims to guide the country in the peaceful use of outer space, especially towards capitalizing on space technologies to tackle socio-economic challenges in the country. The country has also highlighted its commitment in the policy to promote socio-economic development through space products and services, foster international collaboration, promote private sector participation, promote gender equality in said public-private partnership, promote and popularize space education and awareness, and generate revenue from space activities and channel it towards the country's economic growth. Ethiopia's policy framework also strongly emphasizes astronomy, space physics, geodesy, remote sensing, satellites, planetary sciences, geophysics, aeronautics, and astronautics. Ethiopia had a relatively quiet year in 2018 and 2019 with $3.7 million and $5.69 million budgetary allocations respectively. However, in 2020 Ethiopia more than doubled the cumulative of the previous 2 years' budget, allocating $22.2 million. However, in 2021 the amount fell to a modest $10.4 million. Ethiopia only recently joined the African nations that have launched a satellite after launching its first satellite ETRSS-1 in December 2019. The satellite's design, development and manufacturing was done by and in China. 21 Ethiopian aerospace engineers took part in the satellite project, while about 60 master's and PhD students were also involved in research and training at the Space Institute and the country's Entoto Observatory and Research Center. These capacity development initiatives are aimed at transferring knowledge to enable Ethiopian engineers to design, build and launch the subsequent satellite independently in collaboration with the Chinese at a total cost of $8 million. The 65 kg Earth observation satellite has a design lifespan of 5 to 7 years. ETRSS-1 delivers data to Ethiopian authorities and research institutions to monitor the environment and study weather patterns for better agricultural planning, early warning for drought, mining activities and forestry management. Additionally, Ethiopia launched its second satellite, ET-SMART RSS, a year after launching its first satellite. Smart Satellite Technology also launched the 9 kg Earth Observation Nanosatellite in China. The satellite cost $1.5 million and has a similar design lifespan as its Ethiopian predecessor. The primary mission of the satellite is to provide Earth observation services to China and African countries. Additionally, it aims to strengthen collaboration between ESSDI and SMART, both of which intend to do business in Africa jointly. Again, China partnered with Ethiopia for the construction and launch of both satellites. Ethiopia also constructed a 7.3 meters multi-satellite tracking and data receiving ground station at the Entoto Observatory and Research Center in Addis Ababa to supplement the use of the satellites. Besides, Ethiopia intends to use the ground station as a source of revenue. ESSDI Director General Mr. Abdissar Yilma mentioned that receiving information from other countries is not sufficient for the country. The ground data receiving station will provide revenue for the country by selling data to neighboring countries. Ethiopia and China have signed an agreement to build a third satellite, the Ethiopia Comsat, a communication and broadcast satellite. The agreement was signed in Addis Ababa in May 2019 by Dr. Solomon Belay, Director General of Ethiopian Space Science and Technology Institute and Han Chinping, Deputy President of Chinese Rocket Company. Furthermore, experts from Ethiopia and China will build the satellite, and it will be the second satellite by the ESSDI for the Ethiopian government. The satellite is set to be built in Ethiopia. Additionally, the Ministry of Innovation and Technology of Ethiopia expected to use 50% local input. Moreover, the East African country plans to develop a manufacturing assembly, integration and testing MAIT facility and launch about 3 satellites in the coming years. Ethiopia has a vibrant astronomy sector run by the Ethiopian Space Science Society (ESSS). The society founded the Entoto Observatory and Research Center in 2012. It is a first-of-its-kind facility that would allow Ethiopia to observe both the northern and southern hemisphere skies. The ESSS established the observatory as a multi-purpose facility to support teaching, research training, international collaboration, scientific research in astronomy and space science and public outreach. The privately funded observatory is equipped with 2 twin 1.0 micro-telescopes, modern CCDs and a spectrograph, lecture rooms, IT and technical services. Ethiopia is one of 2 countries in East Africa and 10 countries in Africa that has a research telescope. By Joshua Forlity, Space in Africa, December 26, 2021. May God bless Ethiopia and its people. Thank you all members of Ethiopia Today family and our viewers for staying tuned with us. Like and comment, and also don't forget to subscribe and switch on the notification bell if this is your first time. By doing so you are helping this channel to produce this and similar news about Ethiopia. Many thanks.